And I'm going to leave that up for right now, but I will go back. Everybody got that? Perfect. All right, so this is digital nomad lifestyle, and today's topic is traveling for super cheap. There's a lot of programs out there that help people travel, and so I'm going to be covering a lot of those topics. But tonight's agenda looks like this. So after you're done signing in and doing your thing, you can take a look at this part. So who here is a digital nomad or already works remotely? Sort of? Okay, all right, that's fine. Who wants to be a digital nomad and travel and sit on the beaches and make lots of money?
Well, going to be.
Oh, okay, going to be. Okay. Yeah. Wow, okay, good, that's good. Which beach?
We'll find out.
Yeah, come on in, digital nomad. Yes.
How's it going?
All right, yeah, have a seat. There's a sign-in sheet going around. Please make sure to put your name on it. And I will have I'll put up the other digital sign-in thing later on. But this is our topic for our agenda for tonight. So I've been doing this since last year, and so I will see if it continues for next year, depending on my schedule as well, but we will see what happens. But this is more or less what's going to happen. This is what I've already covered so far. Okay, come on in, Jenny. There's a sign-in sheet as well. Back there.
Oh, it's being passed around?
Yeah.
Got it.
So these are the topics right now, and so hopefully it gets to go all the way into January for next year. But we did cover creating opportunities around the world for yourself, finding gig work as a digital nomad, and we also covered like mastering the digital nomad lifestyle from before. So tonight should be a lot of fun because many people think traveling is expensive and it's like, oh, it's only for rich people and things like that. And in fact, a lot of young people do this. And in many cases, many of them don't put any thought into this, and they're just like, I'm going to buy one-way ticket and I'm going to go. And I don't care what happens. So, I always cover some digital nomad news because most people are not looking for this. So in the world of digital nomads, there's a lot that goes on. So for example, at the very bottom, Kenya is now launching a digital nomad visa. So this is really important to know because they realize this is where the money is, right? Like if you can bring in people who work either for a company or for themselves, that's huge economic impact to their communities. The other one is this lady who snagged the Italian digital nomad visa. If you know the requirements, they are pretty high, but they're also hard to get. And if you go backtrack through all of this stuff, you find out not many of them have been issued. So she was able to snag one, and she wrote about her experience and what it was like and why she moved there. But on the side of things, she did have a very nice six-figure job already, so it helped that she could support that, right? Like you cannot really get a digital nomad visa unless you're really making above $3,000 a month, as just to let y'all know. If you apply for one, especially in Spain, which is the one I always hear the most about, you're looking on average like $3,000 a month easily, right? But your back history for employment with a company has to be at least 2 years. So you have to support that. Otherwise, you really will not be able to get a digital nomad visa for Spain. Opportunity and challenges for digital nomads. I'm going to be showing you a little brief little articles and things like that, but this is what's been coming up in the last week. So I'm just going to switch over, and we're going to go over here. And so this is the lady who got the Italian one. That's what she looks like. And so she worked, I believe, on marketing. She came from California, so she had a lot of like back-end support to help her get that visa. But it was also the fact that she always wanted to live in Italy, and she wanted to also be able to work from there as well. So that was super important. Did that just turn on? Yeah.
It beeps, but the screen's on.
There you go. Okay. So yeah, so she had a PR company where she worked for tech startups, and from there she was able to transition a lot of that into being able to get her nomad visa from there. But this is something that you're probably going to hear more about because a lot of people want to move to Italy, but they're really hard to get. That's the problem. I had a friend who just got his citizenship, and he only got it because he found out he had a lineage in his family history that allowed him to apply for it as citizenship. Otherwise, if you don't have any history for Italy, you're really there on a tourist visa, so,
The lineage can extend to any other European country though,
yeah.
because it's the EU, so if you have the EU of any EU country, you're good.
So, the next one right here is the whole opportunities and challenges for digital nomads. And basically, it comes down to the cost of living. If you're a digital nomad, I know probably this is not something you want to like read all the way through, but more or less, some of the ideas is just like, look, you bring in all these foreigners into a country, right? Take, for example, Mexico City. Who here has kept up with Mexico City and digital nomads, right? Like, what has happened with the cost of living in Mexico City for a lot of different parts, right? Cost of living has gone up because all these Americans and digital nomads came into Mexico City. They drove a lot of these rent prices up while the cost of living went up, and the locals are not happy about that. Now, of course, if you're an expat or if you're a digital nomad, you think it's fantastic, right? Like, everything's still so cheap. But for the people there, it has been a terrible, terrible experience. So that's some of the challenges and opportunities that have been happening for digital nomads is, as Americans, if you live here in Austin, Austin's an expensive city to live in already. So if you move to a place where like cost of living is super low, you think it's amazing, and you probably think you hit the jackpot. But now you got to figure out, can your job support that? Like, because there are places around where like you may not have reliable internet, So as a digital nomad, that's everything of your workforce, right? And there's an article that came out, How to Be a Digital Nomad in Tech. So anybody know why this article sort of came out? Anybody keeping up with the tech industry? Anybody have an idea how many tech jobs right now, or how many people are unemployed in tech in Austin?
A lot.
A lot. Right, it's more than 40,000, right? So it's bad. So right here, it's like, okay, well, if that is the case, where are the opportunities, right? So I can go find all these remote job boards and start applying, and what do I really need to do? Because most tech people want that office job. They want that routine, right? They want that steady paycheck. So they're not used to having complete freedom in their time, right? So an article like this, when I was reading through it, is basically just showing like, hey, look, you gotta manage your finances, you gotta understand like your paycheck is depending on how much effort you put into finding work. If you are used to that regular paycheck, this is gonna be really hard for you. Finances, applying for digital nomad visas. Again, you cannot just walk into a country and just start working and think like tourist visa, no problem, right? You can get banned, you can get into a lot of trouble, jailed in some countries. Don't do it, right? So make sure you read up on your nomad visas as well. So insurance, healthcare. You're probably going to need to cover at least 3 forms of health insurance when you travel as a nomad. So you'll have like emergency travel insurance, and then you'll have health travel insurance. And then, depending on the country, you're probably going to need the local health insurance that they're going to require before you enter the country. So things like that. But yeah, that's what this one was kind of covering, just because most people are just so used to that routine. But yeah, Kenya launched it. This was 2 weeks ago, and so they're trying to get in on the money for this. So where is it? Minimum annual income required to apply is $55,000 a year. So valid passport, remote employment for the company outside Kenya, accommodations within Kenya, and a clean criminal record. And so once you apply, you're probably going to do an interview process, things like that. And then if you do get it, then welcome to Africa.
Do you know what the threshold is of like, so let's say I went to Italy and I did an Airbnb for a month, and then when I was in a different Airbnb for a different month, right? What is the threshold when you need to make sure you have a visa versus you're just visiting?
Usually 90 days.
So yeah, it's 90 days within a 180-day period, right? So as long as you can keep it within that time frame, then yeah, you're fine. But it's one of those things where like, if you're on a tourist visa, it's usually up to 90 days. So yes.
And for that digital nomad visa, for like working remotely, is that specifically for working for a company or business, or
So
is
yes,
it self?
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because most digital nomad visas are based on you're working for a company, right?
Okay.
Like they need to make sure you have a steady form of income, and that's why they backtrack it 2 years for your employment history.
Okay.
So they want to make sure like you're not going to be a burden on their economy. If you come in and you're a digital nomad visa and you're just like, yeah, I have like 3 clients this week, and next week I might have 2, and I don't know if I can pay rent, right? Like they don't want that.
Right.
So applying for a digital nomad visa, they want to make sure absolutely that you are not going to be a problem in the country. So that's why for some, and one of the hardest ones right now also is Japan. Japan just released their Nomad visa too, but their thresholds are really high, you know, so. They sound cool, they're awesome, but again, there's so much involved to them. And then I think there was the other one right here. Can we please stop with all the hate, okay? And again, it goes back to the whole fact of like, as Americans, we're just so used to like, man, we get to go travel, we have fun, we eat, we're loud, we're obnoxious, all these things, right? But when you go to these other countries, it's the case of like, man, if there's so many digital nomad visas that move into one area that tends to be very remote and quiet, that's not good, you know? And so that's why there's a lot of hate towards this, because some people are like, well, it's bad for the environment, and you know, there's less jobs in the economy right there, and now there's more competition. But for those who travel on a, let's say, slow path, your costs are going to be so much lower, but you're probably going to start blending in more with the culture, right? Like it takes on average between like 10 and 12 months to adapt to that culture. For most Americans, 2 weeks is not a thing. So, and then I think, okay, yeah, that was it. So I'll go back. All right, so, yeah, so I covered a lot of those right there, and a little bit of humor for you. So I'll let you read that. I like your comments because I'm glad like somebody's you know, providing to the digital nomad community. But she has another funny one where there's like a little thing where you're always traveling, and every time you look out the airplane window, it's like a tropical paradise, and you're excited the first time, and then like the second time you're like, oh man, this is great, and then like the third time you're just like, okay, you know, and fourth time you're like, I need a vacation. Like this is ridiculous, you know. All right, so who here has ever seen this video from TED Talks about how to travel the world with almost no money? Who here has heard that video? Okay, what did you think of it before I play it?
It's been years.
I know. It's at what, 14 years now, I think? So, so basically, this guy right here, I'm gonna play like a few minutes of it, but he's gonna give you this insight to understand like traveling the world is not as expensive as most people think. And if you are very outgoing, it's really almost like nothing. So. Let me make sure. I think we switched the slide. Oh, man. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, there you
Hey guys, I'm Tom from Croatia, and in the last couple of years, the world has been my home. I travel. I hitchhike. Cars, trucks, horses, motorcycles, boats. I drove in buses, trains, rickshaws. I worked odd jobs, spent time with locals. I volunteered. I became a monk. Just kidding. I sailed across the Indian Ocean. I tried things that I never tried before. I've seen things that I will remember as long as I live. And all that with almost no money. That's pretty much it, actually. Thank you very much. No. Most of the people, when they see this video, they react with, wow, I wish I could travel like that. And the thing is, most of us actually can. Before I started traveling, as Andrew said, I was a stockbroker, working 9 to 5, had a lot of money, and then the crash came, 2008, I lost my job, I lost the money, and I lost the meaning. At that time, I discovered one website called Couchsurfing. I don't know how many of you guys heard about Couchsurfing.
So before I continue, does anybody know what couch surfing?
Yeah.
Alright, does anybody know what happened after the pandemic with couch surfing? Okay, so couch surfing was an amazing platform, right? Like you can go on there and there were so many people that basically offered up their couch for anybody to stay, and you could use it, and it was a great community building thing. You had profiles, you had reviews, things like that. And then COVID came in and it just decimated that whole industry. So couch surfing went to a paid system to where in order to access it, now you had to pay to use it. Which was ironic because you couldn't really travel. And at the same time, their whole system of monetization just completely bottomed out, and they lost all our advertisement. So because of that, it got switched to a paid platform, and so many people left it. And then it just sort of like dried up. So.
Okay, how many of you haven't heard about couch surfing? Okay, for you guys, it's an internet website that allows you to host travelers in your own home, and at the same time it allows you to stay in other people's homes while you're traveling yourself. When I was hosting people in my apartment, over 150 of them, by listening to their stories and seeing the spark in their eyes, my thought was, wow, I wish I could travel like that. But I was afraid. The world is a very dangerous place, at least according to the media, our education, our family, church, and so on. I was afraid of leaving my comfort zone and going by myself into the unknown world. I was also afraid of not having any money. And then the people that I hosted in my apartment told me two amazing things. First of all, you don't have to be brave to travel. You just have to have a little bit of courage to start, to leave. And the other thing they told me is that you don't have to be rich to travel. Actually, all expenses while you're traveling fall into three major categories. First is transportation to get from point A to point B. The other thing is accommodation, and the last is everything else, food, drinks, and so on. And they told me if you minimize those three expenses to some minimum, it can be actually cheaper to travel than live in your own city. I listened to them, and for the next 5 years, I've been traveling around the world with almost no money. And this is how I did it. First thing, I hitchhiked. Apart from being free, apart from being really fast, it allowed me one amazing thing, to have an adventure between point A and point B.
Alright, I'm gonna stop right there. So those three things right there are probably your only things you have to worry about when you travel, if that's how you want to travel. I know some people have requirements. They have to have the silk sheets and the the nice rooms and all that stuff. But for most that just want to get out and experience things, this is kind of like your platform right there. And you want to get out there and meet people. Like if you go and travel and you go straight to a hotel or an Airbnb, guess what? You're not part of the community. You're not talking to people. You're not part of that environment. And that's what he did was he talked to people. He hitchhiked. He listened to their stories. What are they doing? And he shared his stories. And then guess what happened? More opportunities opened up for him. And I can't show the whole video because it's really long, but I would encourage you to go watch these videos because there's so many of them who've done TED Talks. In fact, there's a lady here that did a TED Talk on why she chose to be a nomad, and it was because her sister passed away from cancer who wanted to go travel the world, and her sister on her dying deathbed basically said, go do everything I wanted to do that I cannot do anymore. And she did. She quit her corporate job of 6 figures, and in fact, you're going to start noticing a lot of people are quitting corporate jobs that have 6 figures to go live this life. Because she was like, I'm tired of the meetings every Monday morning that don't go anywhere. I'm tired of like this routine. I'm tired of like being belittled and constantly yelled at for 6 figures. And she went and she traveled and she never regretted a single thing of it. And she dedicated everything she ever did to her sister. But there's a lot of stories like this. And so I saw this one a long time ago. So for that, how to come over that fear of like constant travel. So one of the things that I keep running into with a lot of people in this program is like I can't see myself going out constantly and traveling, right? Like Americans think of travel as like they're gone for 2 weeks, they come back to the routine, and then they settle in, right? Traveling as a digital nomad is really hard in the beginning because you're not coming really back. You're going to go out for a while and then you're going to like experience something. Because remember, you're also on a list, right? Like you can only be in a country for so long. So then you do, let's say, your 90 days, and then you go to another country, do your 90 days, go to another one, do your 90 days, right? So if you know like capitalist nomad, he has that 3-3-3 rule, right? Like do 3 months, take a break, and then go do 3 months again, right? And that's totally doable for most people. And in fact, it gets you into a culture, it builds a community for you, and then before you know it, now you have all kinds of places to stay at for free, you know? So, Texas is a really large state. Who here has been everywhere in Texas? I'm very sorry. Really? You've hiked Guadalupe Peak?
No. Everywhere?
See?
Just the Dust Bowl.
Okay, all right. And I always say, like, start in Texas because we're so large. Like, it's so crazy. Like, the number of European countries you could probably fit in Texas is massive, right? So, yeah, no, right? And so, if you've never been to Big Bend, go out to Big Bend. It's a lot of fun. Don't die, okay? You can die pretty fast then. And you know, it's green over in Beaumont, and then you get out to like Texas City, Galveston. It's really nice out there. You get to see all the cruise ships and things like that. There's so much that goes on here, and most people have never really seen all of Texas. So even if you drive up to like the Panhandle, like Lubbock, all the way up there, which is nothing goes on up there, you get to see all the wind farms that take place, right? So having these day trips gets you into that routine of traveling. And so the other thing I always tell people is like, if you're going to go travel, guess what? Go build a company. Go start something. And then go put yourself in a place that's so uncomfortable for you and see, can you get yourself 2 clients? And start building from that. Because then you can start to figure out, like, is this for me? Can I really be a digital nomad? Because if you don't really work for a company, you're going to find out very quickly, just like in that comic, your entire income stream is based off of how many clients you can bring in every single week, or how many jobs you can pick up, you know? So who here does like day trips already? Okay, cool. Any fun places you go to?
Oh, not regularly, but
Okay.
I mean, just like stuff like Bastrop and then Big Bend
Okay.
as well. I want to go to Guadalupe Peak with the Carl Fett
Okay.
Caverns as well. And then I've done travel. Like I was born in El Paso, so I did road trips over here too. So
Yeah.
I do want to go to Laredo and like
Okay.
down there too. I have
Okay.
a friend down there, so all across.
Nice, okay. Yeah, I pretty much have done all major cities in Texas. I've hiked the Guadalupe Peak. I've done the Odessa thing. I've done Marfa's Lights at Night. I've done the whole Big Bend, things like that. If you've ever been to Odessa and Midland, you know like that's all oil, right? Like you can literally go to that place, fall into a 6-figure job, just don't die. Okay, because that's all oil jobs. That's why most of those homes in those small towns are millions of dollars, because most jobs there are starting, even you could be in high school or drop out of high school, walk into an oil rig job at 6 figures, I think it starts like 120, just don't die. Because those jobs are dangerous. And most 18-year-olds drive there, and what do you think they do with their first paycheck? They go get that big truck. And then they go get that down payment for that RV. And then they're like, man, I'm living the good life. Problem with oil jobs is, they can drive just as fast, you know? So there was a whole Vice News thing that went on about Midland and Odessa for a while, because like the jobs were just so plentiful. Like you could literally just go there, walk into an office and be like, I can start Monday morning. And I can tell you today, that's literally unheard of, because how long does it take to get a job today? If you're lucky. Yeah. You're looking between 4 to 6 months, if you're lucky now. So yeah, I mean, go try things out, and then who knows, you might start a company doing that stuff. You know, you might start a newsletter traveling. So let's keep going. So this one right here, I actually taught this in a business course a long time ago. And when this video came out, it had a lot of publicity because it was all done with individual photos. And I thought it was a very fascinating trip in what he did, but he did everything just from his camera. So watch. happened after that video came out. Because that was a long time ago, you know. For this guy, he just posted this, he put it all together. What do you think happened after that for him?
All the cities.
But yeah, I mean, it's the cities, but it was the work he did as a photographer that got him so many jobs after that, right? Like he posted this, and all of a sudden, all these companies around the world were just like, hey, this was amazing. We want you to come work for us. Like the job offers just didn't stop, you know. So then he was able to do even more of this stuff, you know. I show this because this is your opportunity, right? Like you can post things, social media changes a lot of that stuff. So for him, doing this stuff changed his whole career as like a photographer. And it was amazing, you know. And so they really enjoyed it. But hopefully that encourages you, like, hey, I should go try it, you know. So with that, yeah. Where's the other one? So for here, it's like, how do you take your first trip for free? And oh yeah, I was going to ask, like, for that video, who here has been to a lot of those countries already, or at least like 10 of them, right? Okay, and your favorites that you saw in there? Laos?
I love Istanbul.
Istanbul, yeah, Turkey, things like that. So here I put together a few of these things that hopefully some of y'all know about, or you don't know about. Who knows about the digital nomad on Reddit? So that's a huge community. You go look inside Reddit and you go into digital nomads, like there's tons and tons of communities that are based all around the world. So you can go in there and look at like South America, you can look at like Japan, different places like, hey, come on in. And the reason why you want to start doing that is because like if you're gonna move there or you're thinking about traveling there, go hit them up. Go talk to them like, hey, I'm gonna come in. What should I know ahead of time, right? What should I bring, you know? And like I was talking before, stay local. If you're trying to get into this lifestyle, do weekend trips, do day trips, and just get used to traveling. Offer to teach or work for a program. Workaway or house carers or house sitters. Who has ever heard of those? Okay, cool. All right, who has used them? Okay, cool. Which ones?
The house sitters one. It was like a pet sitting au pair.
Sure.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And was it a good experience or?
Yeah, it was cool. It's just that you end up being like pretty remotely out there, so you're like not really experiencing the culture. You're just kind of like in the suburbs or some random place.
Right.
But the one that's not on there that I've had a lot of success with is volunteering in hostels.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually like 4-hour shifts. They pay for all food and lodging. I was down in Ecuador for like 6 months for less than it would cost for like 1 month's rent.
Okay.
But they pay for everything. You just and you're in a dope spot with people and Wi-Fi and all that jazz. So I finished up my MBA while I was down in Ecuador, just working at hostels.
Nice. So who here has heard of the last one on that list? I'm very. You've heard of that one?
What, the hostels?
No, the one.
Oh, no.
No. Nobody here has heard of it?
Isn't that
Oh,
stuff
dude.
in Alabama right now?
I think you're gonna love this one. Okay.
The
So.
move.com, that one?
Yeah, that one right there. Yes. And then, it's, yeah. So basically what this does, it's for the US, and how it works is they pay you to move there, okay? And this works for digital nomads. And you can move as an individual or families. So move to Perry County, they pay you $9,200, okay? Move to Terre Haute, $8,000. Right, move to Indianapolis, $5,000. So how does this actually work? So again, it's catered to digital nomads and remote work. So you find a place, you apply, you have to meet the terms and conditions, by the way, and if you do get approved, then you get selected, it shows what benefits, and then you make your move. All right. So if we go into the list, and I think there was, let's say we pick this one, apply now. Oh, that's right, this side. Let me just go back here. Okay, this is everything you would get if you got picked. Okay, so these are some of the benefits. I'll let you read that. So what do y'all think?
How long do you have to stay with them?
That's going to determine their requirements. So each one is different. It may be for a year, it may be for 6 months. It all depends on like the application itself. So once you create your account, you're gonna go in, and if you do get selected, then you will get $15,000 plus all these other benefits to move there. Why are they doing this? Why is this a thing now?
It's 15,000 is the sum of those benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyone? So quiet.
They just want talent.
Right. They want talent. They want people there. Right. Like they're trying to prevent brain drain. Remember, you have a lot of communities that have a lot of young people that leave, and so they're trying to bring in more people who have skills, who have degrees, who have education, or they're trying to fill up their talent pool. So if you move out to mountain towns of eastern Kentucky, you'll get 5,000. You'll get 5,000 in cash for relocation, 250 for tailored Eastern Kentucky welcome package. Not sure what that means, and then $2,500 bonus for any remote worker that relocates and brings a spouse. So.
How long?
What's that?
How long do you have to usually live there for?
Again, it all depends on the application. Like I said, like it may be for a year, it may be for 6 months. Like you have to like figure out like which one. But again, you're also in a situation where if you're applying for a lot of these things, you don't have a lot of tie downs, right? Like you have that freedom to move. And so if you can go find one that's, you know, let's say $6,000 or $5,000 and it's only for 3 months, why not? You know, go pick it up and throw it on your resume, you know? Like, hey, I got paid to move here. So, but yeah, I always thought this was really interesting because I've seen this and I was like, man, who else knows about this stuff? And yeah, there's a lot of opportunities now to travel. So the workaway one, I wanted to show you all this one because, yeah, this one was pretty interesting right here. So you get to go in like either, this is also for those who want to do a gap year, you want to do working holidays, cultural exchange programs, things like that. Find your perfect host, and they even tell you like what they're offering. You know, how about in school and get immersed in local culture in Indonesia, right? And then there's enjoy the pleasure of organic farming in Jordan. Have breakfast with wallabies and peaceful property in northern Australia. Come and join in fun with a family of 7 near Canada. Go live with the family, you know? So you have all these opportunities, right? Like if you're worried about like housing and all this stuff, there it is, you know? Why not? So, who here has heard of that one? I know you mentioned that one earlier, but anybody else seen this one before? Yeah? Who here wants to do this now? I know, right? I would jump at this. So, yeah, there. And then, yeah, okay. So the next one right there is programs to yeah, basically will give you back, or you can stay for free. Who here has heard of Look? Yes. Okay. Did you ever try it? Did it work?
No, I hosted a Look.
Oh, really? Okay. How did that go?
Really well, but the one caveat is that the work is really hard sometimes.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily have a lot of time, and depending on the family that you stay with, the expectations can be high.
Right. Okay.
So like if you're trying to run a company at the same time, it's not necessarily gonna.
Gonna drive with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just bring it up real quick. Yeah. So it's the idea is like you go work on an organic farm, you travel the world, and you get a place to stay. You know. So I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on people who've done this, and some have had great experiences, and others are like, man, I've been in this field all day long, hacking away at these weeds, and it's hot. It's hot, you know, and then they go back and like, the water's out, you know. So, but yeah, you get to choose all around, and you know, this is great for young people if they want it, and then also for older people who want to experience that travel without the cost of remote work. Yeah, so, and then there was the other one. Oh yeah, so this one right here, let me see if it's, yeah. Who here has heard of Coolworks? This one's been around for a long time. So basically like, these are just really fun jobs that are all over, right? They're seasonal jobs, they're either ski resort jobs, or resort jobs, summer camp jobs, things like this. Some of them are paid, some of them are, let me see, categories. So you have administrative jobs, brewery, distillery, camp jobs, campgrounds, conservation, construction, creative jobs, cruise ship jobs, driving, transportation. So you can go in through a lot of these categories and figure out like, hey, where do I have like a 3-month gap, or I have a 6-month gap. And sometimes that's all they're looking for, right? If you want to do food and services, farm, garden jobs, golf course jobs, you know, go find some really nice places and go check these out, or healthcare, first responder jobs, hot springs. And so if I pick, let's say, creative jobs, there are 6 posts right now, so there you go. They're either at camps or outdoor adventure places or a nonprofit, you know. And then if I go back and I look at, let's say, conservation jobs, then you have, yeah, Southwestern Conservation Corps, Montana. And so you get to go in and, you know, apply for some of these and probably get picked up right away, you know. So then this is to say you have like those time gaps in your schedule. Or cruise ship jobs. I've seen a lot of people for a while post about these cruise ship jobs where they'll go out, they'll get a contract for like a year or so and save up all this money, and then they'll come back and land, and now they're sort of like better off. You know, sometimes like families will go, they'll pick up like cruise ship jobs, and then they'll all save up and come back and have some money. So then you can also search by states. So you can search by Alaska. If I go over here, Alaska has 36 jobs right now, and yeah, why not? See, front desk, breakfast server, bartender server, festival manager, maintenance technician. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun, quick job, this is where it is. You know, they're not tech jobs, so you'll probably get hired right away, and you're not waiting 6 months. So. And I will tell you also, because the winter season is already coming upon us for the northern states, they are looking for a lot of staff right now. You know, so if you're looking to get away for like 3-4 months, yeah, I guarantee you Montana, Alaska, you know, Colorado, there's tons of ski resorts hiring right now. So, and then, yes. So this one right here, I'm going to go into quite a bit because I've been noticing that this is growing a lot. So who here knows some of these?
Airbnb experiences.
Okay, alright. So, yeah. So what you can do with this right here is basically provide experiences. If you're a digital nomad, why would this help you a lot? Any ideas? So if you, let's say, run a tour, like a tour business, or you've lived in Italy for a long time, you can go in here and provide an experience just for that place you've always lived in. You can be like, hey, I will show you all the local clubs that nobody talks about, and you pay me $30 a person, and I will take you to the best places, right? I will show you the best cafes in this little town in Italy, and you can have a whole tour experience, right? Like, more people are interested in experiences than they are like physical stuff. So when you travel, you want that skydiving experience. You want that, you know, scuba diving experience. You want to go like swim with the sharks and things like that. So you can go in here and provide your own experience as a tour. And then as you're traveling around the world, you can change your profile and provide different experiences. So if you travel quite a bit, then guess what? You know all these local things that you can provide. If you've been in Hawaii for a long time, you can go in here, change your stuff, provide a new experience, right? So that can make you a lot of money. So if I go into Paris, and then Eiffel Tower, second tower tour, floor tour, yeah, obviously a lot of tours at the Eiffel Tower. So, Louvre Museum, yeah, guided tour. Who here knows Nick Gray? So he's in Austin, and so basically he started this like tour company. Who here has lived in New York? Okay, all right. How much are the museums? Oh, what? How much are museums over there, like a typical? Okay, all right. So what he did was, he said, hey, look, I will provide tours for different types of museums. You show up on the steps, and I will give you a guided tour, right? And most museums already have tour guides, right? But he took it upon himself and said, no, I will provide you a better experience. And he was able to turn that into a multi-million-dollar business, and he sold that. So he moved to Austin, and he came down here, and then he wrote a book called The 2-Hour Cocktail, basically manual on how to run events, right? And in fact, he recently had a meetup for meetup organizers here at Capital Factory to find out, like, hey, what are meetup people doing, and what are they talking about, and what kind of experiences are they providing? And I read his book, and basically it just shows you how to take having meetups and dinner parties and turn that into a business. Is that too much? So why is that a thing? Like dinner parties is a thing, right? Like who hosts dinner parties? Wait, say that again. I know I just rich people.
The rich.
Okay. So more or less like socialites, right? Like women who host dinner parties and things like that. So if you've ever been to like party stores and you go into the aisles and you're just like, why is this stuff, right? Like why is there like a Hawaiian theme, and why is there a casino theme, and why is there, and you have all these like little dinner things, and that's what they're doing, right? Like they're hosting all these dinner events. So why do they do that? Because there's a reason why they do that. It's not just the social stuff. What else is happening there? Networking, right? Like that's where the opportunities for their family, for their business, for their friends expands, right? That's why the rich are rich, because they have all these deep connections. So they throw these parties all the time. You know, so you as somebody who lives here in Austin could throw dinner parties for what? I was about to say it, but I want to see if I can get y'all to think.
Any of your richest friends, if you can.
Okay, that, well, who else? What? Okay, what else? Digital nomads. People who are passing through Austin that want to experience that, right? So you can have these dinner parties and be like, hey, come to my place, I will provide you an awesome experience, and then we can have a dinner party, right? And now all of a sudden you have that personal connection with these people. Hey, what do you do? What's going on? And what do you think is going to happen from that dinner party?
You just grow your whole network, and now as people travel, you might have somebody that you can meet up with in different places or open doors and opportunities for you.
Exactly, because now those people at the dinner table are going to be like, you know what, I love what you do. If you're ever in such and such place, I will host you there and we'll have a dinner party, right? And it's going to give you back tenfold. So doing something like that has a tremendous networking effect. You know, there's another one right here. It's I've always been fascinated by this site because you can go in here and provide free tours. Okay? Most people look at this and think like, this is boring. I look at this and I think like, this is absolutely amazing. Why? All you're doing is giving walking tours to people. So if I go to Prague, I can go in here and get a free walking tour all around Prague, right? I can just sign up, some person that's local is gonna come meet me somewhere, and we're gonna go on a walk. Well, what else is going on here? I mean, you already said it, so everybody else should have the idea. You're building your network, right? Because those people you're gonna have that conversation with, it might be a 2-hour walk, it might be a 1-hour walk, but you're gonna find out, hey, what do you do? What brought you here? Are you on vacation? Are you on work? Are you taking a break? Do you just want to experience something? So you going in here and saying like, hey, I will provide walking tours here in Austin, guess what's gonna happen? You might run into a guy who runs a big company, and he's like, I'm doing this because I want to get away from you. I just want a nice, quiet walking tour. You're local, show me where to go, right?
How are companies like this offering free things, making their own? Like, how is this like a website that's profiting from this, or is it just something that?
So a lot of this is also advertisements, you know, so they have a lot of ads that they sell, and then also like when you create your user profile, they'll sell that data, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, yeah. So if I search, let's see if Austin shows up. Okay. Oh. So if I select my dates, let's say we go to October, it should be Halloween. Let's see what comes up. Anything? Yeah, there we go. You know, see? So free tour Vienna, free Vienna walking tours, things like that. So,
How do you monetize something if it's, like, let's say I host free hikes. It's well organized, there's like 1,500 members. But I'm having trouble monetizing it, in part because my partners don't want to.
do their part.
Say again?
Do their part. Like to do what they're supposed to do.
No, it's just they don't want to monetize it because it's ideological.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily think that it needs to be a bad thing.
Okay.
So I'm having trouble monetizing it anyway. I've run it for like 3 years.
Oh wow. Okay. What have you tried already?
I tried promotionals for clubs
Okay.
in town, but the audience is not mixed.
Okay.
I'm now creating a print-on-demand situation to try and see if I can get like that going.
Okay.
But yeah, beyond that.
Is that a Shopify store? Oh, okay.
It's hikes, so they're like 4-hour hikes. They run every single week in Italy.
Okay. And it didn't take off or anything?
Oh, it took off in terms of like volume of people. There's like 100 people on every hike. And they're like loyal.
For yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really loyal, but the trick is actually just getting somebody to feel like they're not, I don't know, being conned or something. There's like this, outside of the US, there's an innate skepticism to anything that actually costs money. Often, not always, but often. And
I can tell you that's true. I'm from Portugal, and it's 100% true.
yeah. It's like, why isn't this free? This is just a.
So you're saying if I took on a ghost tour of, you know, your place and I'm like, hey, I will tell you all the ghost stories, pay me $50, you're gonna look at me like I'm crazy?
No, I just won't pay you because I'm poor.
So if you want to see something interesting, there's a girl that does ghost walking tours downtown here, right? And she goes into the, oh my gosh, this famous hotel right here. What is it?
Driscoll.
Yeah, the Driscoll, there you go. And she walks around, so she has a little like headset, right? And I'm gonna switch over. And so she has a little headset and she has a little speaker phone that what she does is, she gives these walking tours to people. There we go. And so each person I think pays on average like $50 or $60 a piece, right? And they're just following her around downtown, and she just gives this like ghost tours of like Austin. How bizarre is that? Or is that a cool idea? Right? Okay. Now, if we look on this page right here for Austin, for Airbnb experiences, this is what people are paying for. Okay? So I could do a photo shoot for $69 a person, and all I'm going to do is basically just, if it gives me the details, let me see if it gives me the details. What do they do? Okay, yeah, that's what you're paying for. Okay? Experience the cinematic magic, most unique angles and locations in Austin. So they're going to walk with you around downtown, and they're going to take pictures so you can put them on Instagram, and you're going to pay them $70 to do that. Are we on board? Yeah. He's got his expression like, wait a minute.
It's pretty genius.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's $70, but it's for 1 hour of your time, and
Right.
especially if you're a up-and-coming photographer, right? It's a great way to build
get out there, yeah.
build a clientele and to make some cash. Like,
Right. And it works, because there are people who do that. Because again, if you don't know Austin and you're coming through, guess what? You already have an Airbnb place. Now you want the Airbnb experience. I'm gonna hire somebody who's here. They know all the Austin spots. Guess what? Now I can throw all that on my Instagram. I'm an influencer again. You know. Now you have street tours, right? Like food tours for Austin. If you're visiting and you already have your place, well, guess what? This guy right here will basically show you all the cool little like food trucks, all the little places around downtown. Who here has gone to a little food truck center over on Rainy Street? Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Right, exactly. So if you're visiting here for the first time, you're gonna go experience all that stuff, and you're gonna have somebody show you where that is.
This is actually a French company that
So,
is like, they do very well, but they're international. They're all over the country. The secret food tours.
yeah. And I know also like they're big in New York, right? Because New York has so much food, right?
Yeah,
You know, and
like
they're-
6 different choices.
Exactly, you know, like you can go land ass backwards into a food tour and not even know it, you know? So the idea behind all this stuff is, as a digital nomad, you're trying to find different ways to make money or produce like your income right there. And why not make some soap in Wimberley while you're at it, right? You know, go take a soap making class. And then learn how to make something sushi rolls at a sake bar, right? And hey, we're in luck, it's $44 now. So you can go over here and sign up, and you get to sit down with them, and then they will show you the whole experience, you know? So again, just to let you know, also, I just found out they did open this back up. So if you have an experience that you want to provide to people passing through, why not, right? Go in there, charge $100, and I'll be like, I will walk with you and listen to all your problems, you know? So you'll pay for that, right? So, so yeah, this is something that I always show a lot of people because, again, experiences are something that people will dish out a lot of money for. In fact, it's one of the #1 things that most rich people will pay for versus like physical things. Because that experience you can never get back. So, and then I believe, yes, this one. So there's another one, I think it's this one no, where did I put it? Yeah, there we go. So basically, the idea is like you gift an experience. So you're going, like just like a gift card, you're going to gift somebody an experience, and you can go on here, pay for it, and then they can go in and do something. Like they can do NASCAR driving, flying lessons, tour activities, food, driving experience, and a boulder yoga hike, because why not, right? Las Vegas Art District food tour, Vegas' ultimate food tour, and look at those prices, totally reasonable. Like everybody would pay for that, right? So, and then flying lessons, like just go up for a little bit, take the flying lesson, do your 3 hours, come back down. Hey, I flew a plane, right? You know, so.
What size is that?
This is experience days. So, yeah, so XP. And there's all kinds of things. So again, you as a person here can go in, sign up, provide your own experience, right? And you can do whatever experience you want to provide that you're an expert in, right? Like there are people on here who go and they do like the 6 a.m. yoga stuff downtown at the park. Come join me, do yoga 6 a.m., $50 a person, right? And you look at that and you're probably thinking like, I can just sit in my backyard and do yoga, you know, but you're paying for the experience. That's the idea, so. And you can gift it by different cities, you can do it by categories, driving, water, kayaking, sailing, scenic tours, things like that, bike tours. If you have a bike and you're just like, I can take you on a nice bike tour in Austin, right? Just have to bring a bike, you know. So what do y'all think of this? Like, do you like this? Like, is it? Yes, go ahead.
What are the? Can just anybody post their own event on it?
Yeah, so what's going to happen is you're going to post it and it's going to go through a review. And they're just going to make sure like it's up to standard. Like you're not going to post something and be like, come watch me paint. Yeah.
Maybe.
You know, maybe, or like, hey, like I will sit down with you and we will make music together. Like I will help you with your songwriting lyrics and things like that, you know. And yeah, I'm sure like there's people out there that post stuff and it's like it goes through a review and they're just like, that's not going to happen, you know. It's like, yeah, so. But definitely the biggest one that kicked all this off was Airbnb experiences, which surprisingly enough, many people still don't even know about, right?
Yeah.
Most people think of jobs as like, I gotta go to Indeed, apply for a job, that's the only way I can make money. Whereas like, there's a whole creative world out there to make money with. To me, like free walking tours is like, if I did that and the only people that took tours of me were CEOs of major companies, I would be happy to do that, because look at the network you just created, right? Versus like, I work for such and such company and I make $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do
bunch of consulting work for a group called Don't Tell Comedy.
Oh.
That they put on comedy shows in like weird places, yoga studios, gyms, whatever. But they're in like 45, 50 different cities now and like really big online. But they started with Airbnb.
Okay.
experiences.
Wow.
They just focus targeting directly on tourists in those individual cities.
Right, right. Yeah. And you know, like when I look at stuff like this, I always look at like, how creative can you really get with this kind of stuff? Because if I go in, let's say I create 50 different experiences, right? And they're all scattered across these different websites. I could take all of those and just put them into a Shopify store and just link them directly to this site, right? So now I have my own nice custom site that drives my own traffic. I can run my own ads on Shopify, and anytime they want to purchase it, it gets directly sent to either this site or Airbnb or whatever, right? And now I'm building my own marketing funnel. I'm building my own traction. I'm doing my own thing. And all of a sudden, like, you have an entire marketing system for you just for experiences. And now you become that person who's like, man, you provided a great experience. Can you come do that for us over here, right? Like, somebody might watch your experience and be like, that's really cool. Can you show me how to do that? You know?
Could you dig a little deeper on how you do that?
So let's say the famous one that I always remember is, let me see if I can find this. Refinery, 21, Italy, oh, yeah, air experiences. Okay. So this one right here I thought was really interesting. And to dive in further, let's say, and I'm going to do a twist on what you're asking for. I can build a Shopify store and take all the grandma cooking Italian experiences and throw them onto a Shopify store, right? And I can just link them all back to their individual sites, right? And if you want to find out the right one, you're going to pay me $5 to get that experience because you don't know where to find it otherwise. Okay, so I'm going to monetize the traffic. Okay, all I'm doing is giving you a link to click on. Okay, so now you can go here, and now you can sit down with Chiara Nana and learn how to make an authentic Italian dinner in her probably very tiny kitchen for $103 a person. Okay? Who wouldn't want to experience that? Right?
Unrelated, but related. Did you see the restaurant in New York City called Nona's?
Oh, really?
Oh my God, they bring in all grandmas.
Oh my gosh.
And like they cook for you right there, and they give you hugs. They give you a hug. Related, but completely unrelated. But
That's
yes,
amazing.
like who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, there was somebody else that just opened a Italian restaurant in Las Vegas, and they were having trouble trying to figure out like how do they bring in that clientele. And I said, have you thought about putting an experience on Airbnb and doing something really interesting? And he's like, I don't even know what that is. So he saw that, and all of a sudden, like, I gave him so many ideas. I showed him everything for Las Vegas that was listed. His mouth dropped. He's like, oh my God, I gotta get my marketing guys on this. We need to set something up because this is traffic right there, you know? So if I go back further, then I think there's, yeah. Whoops, went too far. It's in Italy. Yeah, so you have all kinds of opportunities right here to go in. And for me, I always think very differently in terms of like how to build that traffic, right? Like I can build my own makeshift like experience site and curate it to just like cooking experiences in Italy and build a Shopify store around it, you know? And again, all I'm selling is links, you know? So couldn't you do the same thing for Austin? Build a nice Shopify store for Austin and be like, hey, these are all the cool things to experience in Austin, and they just are links that people buy to go to where they can purchase it, you know? And that's it. So did y'all like that? Is that helpful? Is that cool? Is it like, man, I'm gonna go home and not do this?
Trying to figure out in any way possible how I can relate it back to my business.
Right, yeah. You know? Because I mean, like, what I do is I go through a lot of these things and I sit down and I look at like, okay, what is the traction? How many people are actually buying this? You know, what are the numbers looking like? And if it is really good, then maybe I should start something similar, right? Because like sometimes you'll see some of these things and you're just like, there's no way somebody's buying this. Like they're really like you're just sitting there to make cookies, you know. But people do, you know. Like it's just the experience, right? So if I searched Airbnb experiences Las Vegas, let's see. Yeah, there's like tons of sightseeing, you know, things over there. And let's say unforgettable, Hoover Dam. How much are they charging? There we go, perfect. That's $700 a group. Why not? Right? There it is. You bring in some people. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take you. You're gonna meet me at some random spot. You're gonna pay me $700 online. So it's legitimate. And we're gonna do a walking tour. How do you feel about that? Who here thinks you can just walk it yourself and not get lost?
Absolutely can.
So, okay, now who here thinks they want to just do that themselves and just charge $500? Right? so yeah. And what's included? You get a drink. Yeah, and it's probably in a nice Stanley cup. Alrighty, so the next one that I do want to touch on, I think is really, oh yeah, that's what, I forgot about this guy. Okay, so where did I put him? Okay, this is another one right here, where you provide experience gift boxes. Okay, go ahead.
Just one more on that.
Sure, sure.
Is there any level of SEO that's needed, like, if I'm, in theory, like I have this one show situation that I put on, if I wanted to do it in different cities and wanted to tour in different cities, I'm going to be ranked less if I'm trying to do it in Denver and I don't typically do events in Denver. Is that accurate, or is my event just because it's on that one night? It has the same level?
Are you saying it's still on Airbnb experiences?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like if I was running it in Austin all the time, would there be a search engine optimization factor to it that would get it ranked higher, or do I have the same level of ranking if I run it in Denver one time, Minneapolis one time?
No, they're gonna change. They're gonna change. You know, so like again, you can run your ads through their platform as well, or you can run the ads through Google to go to their platform and then just double back on them, right? Of course, that's gonna cost more money, but it just ensures that they're gonna get more traction. So anytime somebody searches like comedy shows for you, then if they're searching Austin, then it's gonna populate faster because then you have the backup for Google Ads and their platform as well, so they're working with each other. You know. I would also use like an AI SEO agent just to help like double check all your ins and outs, you know, and see what you're missing. So, and there's probably an AI tool for that. So.
Cool. Thank you.
So the next one right here is, why not just give a gift box of experiences, right? So now you can just buy a little box of experiences and give that to somebody. So you choose your little gift box, and then they either get the voucher or the box themselves, and then they can pick an activity from that box, you know? So you can go in here and build your own experiences as well. So who here likes that idea? Right? And who here likes subscription boxes? Yes? Cool? Who here has always wanted to create their own subscription box experience? No, he says no. He's like, no, I have no time for that. All right, I'm going to show you this company. They used to be, I think, around the corner. I don't know where they actually went to now, but they're in Austin still. So basically what they do is you come up with an idea, and then they will do the logistics for your subscription box service, right? So if I do Halloween shop, and I go into here, let's say I do Halloween thrills, what kind of subscription box services do they provide? Okay? Escape the crate, an adventure room, escape room, adventure shipped straight to your door. So they have all these curated things that are brought together, and you get a little subscription box to your door for Halloween, right? Then you have the Whodunit is the killer, Scarlet Envelope, Secret Society subscription, and again, you can determine like how often they arrive. Like it's a monthly thing, a weekly thing, things like this. And they start at 27, 25, or 21. So you can go in here and decide like, hey, do I want to do something like that as well? And they provide the logistics for you. So they're just going to ask you like, hey, we need this from you, give it to us, and then we will do the rest, you know? So if we go to the bestseller categories, let's see what the bestsellers are right now, okay? baby boxes, let's see, shaker and spoon cocktail club, baby stuff, my garden box. So yeah, herbal apprentice box. So every month you get a new box of different things for herbals. You know, with all the materials, all the stuff right there, shipped straight to your door. You know. So if you have, let's say, a whole bunch of people, let's say you have 100 people sign up for your subscription box, 100 boxes go out and they get shipped to your door. Is that cool? Is that awesome? You know?
Is it mostly influencer marketing?
Yes, unfortunately. This is really hard to do just because of the fact that like there's so much you have to think about way in advance, right? Like if you're doing a monthly subscription box, you have to figure out what each box is going to look like, what the theme is, what the marketing is, and what the SEO is going to be. So there's a lot of advanced planning for each box, you know. But for those who get it done, it works wonderfully, right? You know, so. And then used books monthly. So you can have a box of used books shipped to your door because why not? You know, so. Or you can just go to half price. But yeah, I always thought this was really interesting because I've met a lot of people who they want to provide these like little experience boxes, but they do it themselves and then they get so overwhelmed with the logistics of like all this marketing and materials and stuff that it just falls apart, right? So there's this company here that does all that stuff for you, and then they walk you through the process, what they expect, things like that. So is that overwhelming? Is that good? Great. Now we can make a lot of money traveling and don't have to. And provide free tours and charge a lot of money. Alright. Alright, so now I want to show you this little thing that I thought was really cool, and it still exists. So we're going to play this little video. Put it right here.
And losing innocence. It all began 1 year ago when I was reading my favorite newsletter, The Published Press, and I read a short article about this startup called Thatch. Not this Thatch, that Thatch. A free app that allows creators to monetize their recommendations and finally get a cut of the billions of dollars in travel-related spending they drive each year. And I wanted to be a part of that, so I reached out and met Abby and Wes, two of the nicest people I've ever spoken to. And they kind of invited me to be a part of their creator advisory board, alongside people like Nathaniel Drew and Matt from Jetsetter. And so, over the past few months, I've had the incredible opportunity to help develop the app, share my ideas, and now have a project sponsored by them. A few weeks ago, they launched their 4th page and asked if I wanted to fly over to Italy to test it out. But I thought it would be much more fun to go with someone else. So I decided to invite them.
Okay, so what do you think of that idea?
Just monetize recommendations?
So you're monetizing your trips, actually. So what you're doing is like if you go to Italy and you did a specific trip around there and then you eat at certain places and you're like, hey, this is exactly what I did on my trip, I can sell that now to different people that want to experience that. So if I go into, let's say, his profile, and I can see New Zealand 21-day itinerary, then I can go in here and buy this for, it shows you like the map of like all the different places that he went to on this trip. And then, what is it?
$30?
Yeah, $30, okay? And then it shows you the reviews down below, what they thought of it. And it shows you location, the map, why did he do it, what was his purpose. He has some pictures from the event, and it was updated 2 months ago. And basically, you're just selling your experience of what you went through. So why is this a big thing?
Just so people know what experiences they want to do.
Okay.
They can like plan out a trip better.
Okay, but there's something bigger here that I don't know if anybody can hear it. You should be able to grab this, because this is your generation. But
People pay you to have those experiences?
no, there's something else going on here.
I don't get it.
Easy.
I know. So there's something going on here, and it's the influencer culture for social media. If the person I follow on social media has gone on this trip, what do I want to do?
Do what they did.
I want to do what they did, and that's what you're buying. If I know that such and such that I follow that has 3 million followers did this, and they ate here, and they went there, and they did this, I want to know that I can go do that too, and I'm buying an experience. And that's why it's such a powerful thing. Because how many times have you seen influencers on social media, and they briefly just show you like, hey, this is my fit for the day, And all of a sudden, they're just like, I gotta have that shirt. I gotta go buy those shoes. And that drives the market for e-commerce, right? So going on to this side right here, and if you travel quite a bit, then I can go into here and be like, hey, what else does he do? Like, where else has he been? There's all his spots. These are all the pictures he's taken. This is the places he's gone through. He's gonna provide me some hidden gems. And I'm gonna buy all this for $22.99.
So he just recorded everything he did on that trip and uploaded it to there?
Right.
And then every time someone pays that $30 or?
It goes to your Google Maps app, and then that gets added to a new layer on your map, and now you can turn it off and on.
So he's making money every single time someone purchases this review?
Right, exactly. So what do you think of this? Or is this like, you know what, this is ridiculous, I'm tired, you know?
What's the traffic like to that site?
What's that?
What's the traffic
It's
like?
very low because like, unless you're part of that world of like influencer traveling,
Yeah.
you're not really gonna know about this stuff, right? Like I watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of social media content, and when I was discovering this stuff, I was just like, how did this come about? And what was amazing was that Thatch sponsored that video that I was showing you. And what happens is when you're going on a trip, you're actually providing all the pinpoints on that trip, right? So it's recording your journey, right? So then you can go in and when you're done with your trip, you upload the whole thing. And now when that person or whoever buys that trip from you, then you get a cut of the share, right? Because the traffic was from the website, and now they want to monetize the creators who built all that stuff for their site, right? So there's many benefits to that. So that's why they reached out to them, they're like, hey, can you sponsor our video, and we'll go do this cool little Italian trip, you know? And it works, you know? So it's another way of providing an experience that people will pay for. And if you're a big influencer on social media and you do a lot of TikToks, and you're just like, hey, I went and did a 2-mile hike today, here's my trip that I did. And you put it on Thatch, and then you sell that to people, and you're just like, I'm gonna go buy that for $10, and I'm gonna go walk the same thing. Some people are thinking that's ridiculous. And other people are thinking that's genius. Because there is that market out there, that's why they're called influencers, right? And it is a billion-dollar, if not trillion-dollar thing in the near future. And if you think I'm joking, look at what Prime did with their drinks. That was all influencer marketing, and nobody ever thought a drink would ever hit $1 billion in revenue off of social media, you know? So, is it good, is it not good? Is it like, okay, you know what?
They got bigger than Gatorade.
I know.
What drink is it?
Prime.
Prime. So Logan Paul. Yeah, can you believe it?
Did they find that there's like some sort of poison in it too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Like 90%.
But I-
So bad for you, but they still somehow are making so
Yeah,
much
my
money.
son wants it, and I heard there's like literally traces of some sort of, again, something terrible for our bodies, poison. And my son's like, I want Prime, and I'm like, get out of here. Like, not happening.
So the crazy thing about that was every time an influencer gets a package from them, right? Like they're not even asking for these packages of Prime, they just get shipped to their doors. And what happens is these influencers go like, oh, I got a box of Prime, and then they're recording the whole thing because that's what they do. And then they open it up, they have all this Prime stuff, they have the Prime meals now, and then they have the drinks and all this stuff. And guess what that's doing? It's just more marketing for that business. And because they recorded that whole thing, even just opening it, just holding the item, like it makes their audience be like, I gotta have that.
That's like the new, I was in Target and they had the Mr. Beast bar, and they have the thing where it's like, to win $1 million, it's like, show what you do, and you have to take like a picture with like a bar at, or with the candy bar at like an event or something, and whoever has the best picture or photo is gonna.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the only thing missing is it's also accurate.
Yeah, you kind of just copied
Oh,
that,
actually, you
instead
know,
of a golden
They
ticket.
really should have like a golden ticket, and at this point, just like invite people to.
Because you got $1 million in commercials would barely
Yeah.
even touch that amount.
Yeah.
I think I'd buy the chocolate bar.
Also, that would be
What's really funny is my girlfriend's roommate's dad won $1 million of his candy bars in a round.
Oh shit.
And they
What would you
actually
even do with that?
actually shipped it to his house on a crate, and he just had.
I would
bars.
be annoyed, Jack.
Very.
Yeah.
Just took the raffle as a
all
joke,
that,
and apparently you
like,
won it.
Yeah, like, your chocolate bar, it's gotta be air conditioned too, like, it's.
Yeah,
Right,
like,
like.
he's like, what am I gonna do with my car now?
So yes, Mr. Beast actually did have a chocolate factory and he was able to do that, so.
Wow, it's just a chocolate bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so going on the chocolate bar now, what Mr. Beast has done is, because he's Mr. Beast, every time somebody on social media gets to a certain number, like he just sends a box of chocolate. And the problem is he keeps sending boxes of chocolate, right? Like they don't even need to ask. And so all these influencers are constantly like showing these videos like that because that's their thing and they want to document every aspect of their life every day. So this marketing is all free. And it's just growing and growing and growing, right? And it's just taking off. And it's the reason why these brands have exploded, because almost no money has been spent on marketing trips. You know, it's just a simple box you send to a 16-year-old influencer, to a 21-year-old influencer, a 30-year-old influencer, and it explodes.
It's not even good either.
So you should
Like,
put that on TikTok.
The reviews are like really bad. Same with Prime. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't taste good, and it's not a good energy drink for a sports athlete.
Oh, of course not.
Because someone's famous and.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't matter.
But don't,
Yeah.
you cannot convince a 16-year-old otherwise. It will not happen. You know, he's like, no, I gotta drink that, you know. But it's gonna hurt you, it's gonna cause cramp. No, I have to drink it, you know. So this one right here, she's got 27 subscribers, and eating gluten-free in Charleston. So this, I think, is pretty genius if you have a gluten allergy, you know, situation, right? So she's showing you a map of all the restaurants that you can eat at that are gluten-free, right? And she's selling this, and she's showing you the meals. She has all this information right there. Lunch spots, like she's going all out on this. And if I go further, I can pay, oh, wow. And you can hire her to do this. So, yeah, she's really going all out on these things. But I think her model is basically based on subscription. Yes. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, free. Yeah. So she offers it for free, but you hire her for a consulting thing. So that's how she's driving her market. So she's doing something different. You know, so that in itself is great marketing for your business. You know, so if you work in a certain industry and you're like, hey, I will show you as an engineer all the manufacturing firms for Austin, Texas, and this is the map for it. And you can hire me to show you this, or I can show you like who the people are that I can connect you with. Like there's all kinds of avenues you can play with, right? So in that sense, you know, Batch, I believe is probably a great platform for doing even more stuff. You know, so. If I go back further, let's see what she offers. Yeah, so she does another thing as well. So she has 297 subscribers, and this one is Roam Like a Local Map Guide. And she has her pictures, she has all of her map pinpoints right there. And yeah, for 15 bucks you can unlock that and add it to your Google Maps or Apple Maps. So. So, did that help anybody? Is that insightful, or is it just like overwhelming, and now you just want to go back home and do bedtime routine?
Yes.
Yes, I'm glad, because like, I really wanted to show you this because like a lot of times many people don't realize like it's out there, and then there's another book on here. I can find it real quick. So there was a book that I was actually reading. Yeah, I was really hoping I was showing them. So there was this family that took a year off, and they basically volunteered at different places around the world. And wow, I was really hoping it would have shown up. That's sad. But anyhow, so as a family, what they did was they're just like, hey, we want to travel, but we don't have a lot of money, and we need to keep our expenses low. So they found all these volunteer programs. And the first one they went to was a monkey program down in Costa Rica. And basically you come in, you get to take care of animals, work in the rainforest, the jungle, basically. But the experience was really bad because there's a couple of monkeys that don't like white males, and they fear them, and so they view them as a threat. So in the book, the dad was always in danger of like getting hurt whenever he stepped into the jungle. His family was fine, like none of the monkeys bothered him, but because he was so tall and white, he was viewed as like a big threat. So he didn't know like he was gonna get attacked or he was gonna get bitten or like what happened. But there was this big giant female monkey that the first time she saw him, like clinged to him right away. Like no other person could talk to him. Like that was it. She found her soulmate, done, you know. And no matter what she wanted to do, he had no choice but to let it happen because she was way bigger than him. But there was another experience where they go to another part in Africa and they help take care of animals in Serengeti and things like that. And a lot of these places provide free room and board. You just have to get there. And that's another way of like traveling, because volunteer programs are all over and they're looking for people all the time. You know, of course there's a Peace Corps, but there's more to that. But if you're just looking for like a 3-month period or like a 1-month period, and you're just like, yeah, I want to go out for a bit of time, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on room and board, why not? You know. So, and with that, Nomad list. I did want to bring this one up because this is the only one. Oh man. See if let me do it. Yeah. I don't know why it messed up. So this is run by Peter Levels, and he runs a Slack group that's paid. So if you're looking to join communities, you can join his Slack. Sorry it's messed up, but yeah, I was hoping to show it to you. Let me see if I can just bring up an image. Yeah, this is more or less like what the site looks like, and it just compares different cities for like cost of living and then like safety, internet, things like that. So that way you can get a sense of like, hey, if I'm going to be going out here for 3 months, how's the internet? What is the safety rating? Like, you know, if is it easy? Is the cost of living affordable? Things like that. But the biggest thing that he provides is a paid Slack group that you can join. So that way, if you're going to go to Portugal, you can join and be like, hey, I'm going here in 2 weeks. Is there anybody that I can stay with? Somebody can show me around, and that gives you that connections right away.
Or you can just talk to me for $30.
Oh, dude, there you go. It's caught on. Yeah.
I think I was looking at this site.
Wait, can you bring it up on yours? I'm
So
curious.
I was looking for it in my history. I couldn't find it.
Okay.
But I went on Reddit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they were like, do not use this site. Do not pay for it.
Why?
Because all the information is readily available.
Right.
Online. So they're like, basically, the guy who made it
Peter Levels.
is trying to cash up.
So yeah, well he runs like 6 different companies.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
So, yeah.
So this is another side project for him. You know. But yes, I mean I've heard that too. You know, but it's that Slack community that I'm looking for. But if you don't want to pay for that, again, like I said, you can go to Reddit and then you can go into that digital nomad community and just talk to people there. Right? There's a big enough community there. But again, like I always say, like build out your own network. Like go travel or provide experiences here, because the people who are traveling through here, they're going to connect with you. And if you have 2 hours with somebody who's a big deal over there, guess what? That's way better than doing your own thing, right? Like don't travel and stay in nice hotels. Go travel and be in a community. Go find a co-op or something like that.
What website did you go to?
For which one? Oh no, I went to Nomad List.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's under this is
Yeah, that's the one I
yeah,
did.
nomads.com.
Oh jeez, he changed it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it worked. All right. So basically, like if you look right here, and hopefully it will load. Or if it's the internet. there he goes. All right, yeah, so it gives you a rating of different places. So it tells you like the Wi-Fi, tells you what the Wi-Fi ratings are, how much per month, and if I was to click here, Chiang Mai, yeah, like healthcare, happiness, nightlife, free Wi-Fi in cities, and you can get way more details from there, and then you can join. But yeah, this stuff is also available in a lot of different communities.
Now, how much it is a month to live there?
Yes. Yeah. So this gives you a good sense of like comparing places. Like if you know you want to go to Tokyo, then you know that on average you're going to spend about $2,830 a month for living expenses. This includes rent, utilities, food, things like that. Yeah. Kuala Lumpur, it's going to be about $1,300. Seoul, $2,500, things like that. So.
Is this more active than Numbeo?
A little bit, yes, because he does have an API that connects to a lot of these different places for that. So
What site is it?
this is nomads.com. Yeah, it used to be Nomad List, but I guess they got changed it or something. But it's a good resource regardless, you know, even if you check it and see what's going on. But yeah, it's $99, hopefully, still, for a lifetime. You know, so you pay it one time and then that's it. But he also just launched another tool as a side hustle, which is Photo AI. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this one right here. This is another one of his. Oh, jeez. Oh, not a good night. So yeah, that's not going to. Well, if anybody else can get to photoai.com, take a look at it. That's his other project that he just launched, and I think he's already at like what 500,000 a year making side hustle on that. But he's about to update it for video as well. You know, so.
What does it do?
What does it do? I think it like just brings up your images.
It's a proxy to other AI.
Oh no, it's a wrapper. It's a wrapper. Yeah. So in my other classes that I teach, the solopreneur stuff, I've gone over wrappers for AI tools, and you'll notice like majority of AI products out there are all just wrappers over OpenAI, right? And if that's the case, then why not build a wrapper on a wrapper? So, you know. There's a, I think it's short videos, viral. I know this one right here, too short AI. Yeah, this one right here, elevate your content, and basically what this little AI tool does is it takes your long form video and it figures out how to truncate that to TikTok form. And then you can just upload it straight from the platform, and then that's it. Yeah. So, yeah, it uses AI to just figure out like what is the most important parts, and then it parses it, edits it, does all that stuff, and then throws it up there on TikTok or YouTube Shorts. And that's it. But it's just these tools are coming out left and right, and I created a list of like all these like big AI tools and. Sometimes for me it's hard to keep up, right? Like there's just always like new tools always coming out, you know. So a while back, I think it was like 2 months ago, I showed like the top 50 AI tools that people use, and what was surprising was most people could not get past 3, and I was like, how is that possible? There's 50 right now that are making millions of dollars, and you can only tell me you only know 3 on the list, you know. So, but yeah. But yeah, that's another industry and stuff. So if you want to build AI tools and create a wrapper on top of that, then by all means, that's how it's going to support your travels. Do it, you know. Or create a little GPT tool that helps you like figure out how to travel more efficiently, right? Like do the hotel points and credit card points and airline points and all that stuff. And so yeah, you can easily sell that too. Yeah, so any questions, feedback, things like that?
Have you heard of Kentucky trips?
I have not. What is that?
It's this thing my cousins did, and it's like a pre-planned trip, so you pay for like a pre-plan, and it's with a group of people. It's CONTI, yeah, Kentucky, CONTIK, yeah.
Tours.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I don't know, my cousins did this, and my parents were thinking of doing it for a graduation gift.
Okay.
They did it to like Singapore, and you go with a group of people, and I don't know if there's like an age limit or anything, but.
It says 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18 to 35. I don't know what you think on that. I think that's like, because you pay for like a price and it shows per person, and then it just has all the locations you go to, hotels, it's all pre-planned, you don't have to plan anything.
So this reminds me of like National Geographic tours, like how they will bring in like a group of like 200 people, and then they have a pre-planned itinerary for different areas. That's what it reminds me of. But I think what they're doing is, instead of the big like general group, they're making it for young people.
Yeah.
You know, which is cool. I like that. You know? But I think for like the prices and everything,
Well, it depends on the location, I guess.
right, exactly, yes. And
I don't know if it includes plane tickets or not.
It probably doesn't. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I'm like, to get to Europe, I know it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And you've traveled a lot too, right?
Yeah.
So who else has traveled a lot as well? Okay, yes. Any fun places that you're like, I want to go back to, or?
Zimbabwe was pretty cool.
Okay.
We went and stayed on Lake,
Wow.
I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Lake Kruger, but one of the two.
Right.
No,
Very nice.
that's it.
Okay. And then you all have places, yes?
I went to Puerto Vallarta, so
Okay.
Mexico, and
Yeah.
there's actually a big community there that's really into like health and fitness, but also a big community there that's into like co-working spaces.
Okay.
So there's local co-working spaces there. There's a little town I went to outside of it that actually had free Wi-Fi in the whole town. Because I didn't have, my phone didn't work, so that was really nice to have.
Right.
What was it called?
Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
So like Southwest Mexico.
Yeah, there's the digital nomad community in Mexico in general, even Central America is big, just because a lot of people want to go down there and the cost of living like drops, you know, for at least us, but for others it changes. But yeah, I mean, like, once you understand the visa system down in Central America, it's actually very, very easy to use. In fact, I think Costa Rica has one where like if you just cross the border and then you cross back, your visa renews the same time you do that. You know, and then yeah, pretty much. Like you just cross the border again, like you come back and you're like, oh, it renewed again. And you can do that. So, which is a lot nicer than some other places, right? Like it's really hard. But anyways, I wanted to show you this one. This is the big one over in Mexico City. So if you want to be a part of their group, this is the digital nomads that do their thing. They have a lot of like streaming ones that they do, but they also have a big meetup in Mexico City. So if you're ever traveling to Mexico City and you want to meet up with some of them, currently they have 1,400 members that you can connect with. You know, so even if you want to go in and just chat with them and be like, hey, I'm passing through, you know, send them a message or an email, things like that. You know?
I feel like on the topic of being able to travel, Chief, you should show them the AI negotiator that you showed us the other day.
Okay, what was that called?
I think that was incredible, and I feel like that's a really great resource to be able to aid in trying to travel cheap.
All right, so this little guy right here, he's really funny, by the way. Okay, he's really funny. And what you do is you go in, you find the hotel that you're trying to stay at, okay? And you give him the phone number, and you let the agent do the call, okay? And the agent will call the hotel, and you will have a full conversation, and you will negotiate the price way down, okay?
So it like sounds like a real person?
Absolutely.
Talking?
Yes, absolutely.
That's scary.
In fact, let me see if I can play a little example.
Hola, estoy buscando unas habitaciones para esta noche para 2 personas. ¿Puedo preguntarte si tienes una habitación disponible?
Sí, sí, tengo habitaciones disponibles. ¿Aló? ¿Aló? ¿Logras escucharme?
Sí, te escucho perfectamente. Me dijiste que tienes habitaciones disponibles para esta noche. ¿Cuál es el precio? Reservo directamente contigo.
Bueno, tengo la habitación estándar y la tengo en 410,000 pesos. Hasta en 400 se la puedo dejar, la habitación estándar. Y la habitación Junior Suite es una habitación con vista al río, se la puedo dejar hasta en 480,000 pesos.
Sí.
¿Aló?
Me parece un poco alto el precio para mi presupuesto. Me dijiste que la habitación estándar cuesta hasta 400,000 pesos y la Junior Suite 480,000 pesos. Me parece un poco alto para mi presupuesto. ¿Hay algún descuento adicional que puedas ofrecer?
¿Qué presupuesto tiene usted?
¿Hay algún descuento adicional que puedas ofrecerme ya que es una reserva de última hora?
Permítame un segundito y ya le confirmo.
¿Hola, estás ahí?
¿Aló, me escuchas?
Sí, sí.
Bueno,
¿Te escucho? ¿Me ibas a dar un descuento adicional?
Sí, el mínimo le puede quedar 350 a la noche.
Ese es un buen precio. ¿Hay algún descuento adicional si pago en efectivo en lugar de con tarjeta de crédito?
No, no hay ningún, de hecho aceptamos todos los medios de pago. No tenemos descuento por efectivo. O sea, si puede pagar en tarjeta, no tengo ningún inconveniente. ¿Dónde se encuentra ubicado usted en el momento?
Estoy cerca del centro, pero como te dije, nada más, gracias.
So the idea is like, it's asking all the questions that you're either too afraid to ask, or like it's just pushing you a little further than most people are just too afraid to do, right? So you can go in and yeah, it's a pretty interesting tool, but that's basically how it works. And I would say if you're traveling a lot, use it. Why not? I mean, like, it's not gonna hurt. And if it gets you half off the price, then do it.
Are you familiar with the home exchange options too?
No, tell me about that.
Just like, so instead of doing like an Airbnb, and to promote like more
Oh, yeah.
you can like live in someone else's house while they're living there.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I've heard about that. I think it started on like that Craigslist, and then it got shady after that, and then like it moved to quite different platforms.
Now they have like more, like there's an app called Home Exchange, which is the biggest one, but then they have Kindred, which is like members only.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it's open to anybody.
Yeah, okay.
So that's like a good option if you want to go someplace.
Right.
You know, switch out there.
Nice, okay. Did y'all hear about that one? It's home exchange, so y'all could use like, basically like exchange your house for another person's house, and travel that way. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a house, like it could be like your apartment.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know like a lot of people do the Airbnb thing where like they'll even rent out like their couch, you know.
You can rent out the rooms.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. So, and there's ones for like storage too now, so you can rent out storage. If you have extra storage, you can rent out, you know, yeah. So there's all different kinds of things now. Like remember, like you have to remember, like there was an app a long time ago, I'm sure it's still there, where like you can rent out your balcony, right? You know, to people who are passing through. And so, it's funny, right? You know, but people were doing it because like you're passing through and you're just like, man, there's no gas station. And but these neighborhoods that like, you know, all these things, like if I want to use this, I gotta pay $50, you know, and just knock on your door and like, hey, I need to use the restroom. I already paid. So.
What was that app called?
Rent a restroom or something, or rent a bathroom. You know. So. But yeah, I mean, like, there's all kinds of things now to sell, and the biggest one that I saw was like the ones that have like the storage units in your backyard that you can probably buy at Costco, right? And you just put it back there and rent it out for like $400 a month, you know? And people do that a lot on Nextdoor, you know? So.
A lot of TV shows purchase people's homes as well to show them. My Cat from Hell was filmed in our house. They came to like our apartment.
Oh my gosh.
They filmed it in the house and you just had to take down all the photos off the wall. And that was just
Wow. So with that, if you have any questions, that is my calendar link if you want to talk further. Where did I put it? Oh yeah. So I've had this book, it's called Digital Nomads for Dummies. If you want to visit her stuff, it's Kristen the Nomad. And so this is a great book to just cover like all your bases with. She has a lot of resources in this book that she covers from like health insurance, visas, things like that. But I'm gonna pass it around so that way if y'all wanna, you know, take a look at it, thumb through it. And then one last thing, there is a sign-in sheet. Please, if you haven't signed in here, and then I also have another little thing right here. Please, if you haven't scanned that, please scan that. And with that, I'm going to let Jenna explain to you more about the code as well.
So that code there, basically, I want to keep Chris's classes going. If you go to his other one as well, there's a couple of us that I notice familiar faces. We go every time Chris hosts a class. And so what we're trying to do here is between the digital nomad lifestyle and the rising trend in the one-person business. I own Project Outsource, which is a virtual assistant company where we are offshoring people in the Philippines. You'll hear every time you go to a digital nomad class, Chris is showing different, it's a different topic, but different AI tools to be able to live the digital nomad style, and quite often he'll be like, the additional, or the next level up from this is you're getting these jobs, you're using AI tools, or you're having a VA use the AI tools to do the jobs, and you're collecting the paycheck. So at one point, someone in class was like, where do we find these magical VAs? Hi.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I have the company. So basically what we did here is a punch card system. the more classes that you go to Chris's and start perfecting your craft, you're gonna earn free VA hours with me. So keep learning, keep growing, and then get some benefits out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And having a VA, I mean, like when you're traveling, you're gonna need one because that's what causes burnout, because you're trying to do everything yourself. So if you're trying to book your Airbnbs, you're trying to like do your travel, like your airline tickets, your visa, stuff like that, you are going to burn out. And that's why there's so many YouTube videos on like digital nomad burnout, because these people are going and just doing everything. Like they're going to their Shopify stores or updating things. Your VA can take care of all that for you and really make you a lot of money, right? Like if you want to create experiences and be like, hey, look, I want to do this experience, go to these sites, do all the listings, here are the pictures, let me know when you're finished. Right? Like that can make you a lot of money because now you're leveraging your time. Yeah.
And there are flyers up at the front where Chris's computer is. There are little flyers if you guys want like more information.
Yes.
My website's on there, all that good stuff.
Anybody else want one of these?
You just do that, yeah.
And I will leave it right here on the corner.
Actually, we submitted a submission with my birthday. Today's date. So
I'll
now you know.
I'll note it.
Yeah.
And then,
Thank you.
with that, I will have the last, oh yeah, and then if you can please provide feedback. Please scan this. I would appreciate your feedback on what you thought of the program as well. And then I'm going to be adding a social component to this. I was supposed to list that today, but if you are a subscriber to the Digital Nomad lifestyle program already on Luma, you will get a notice once the event gets posted, okay? So the idea is like, this is the formal stuff, right? But now I want to have like the informal, the social stuff. That way y'all can network, talk to each other. Because there's a lot of nomads that take my program, and they want to meet other nomads. Like, where are you going? Where have you been? Like, what are you working on? Like, what kind of companies have you run before? What are your success tips? Things like that. That way people can like network and share insights. So. All right. And with that, yes, saying hard is bye. Saying bye is very hard. Sorry. Why did I say that? Saying hard is bye. I'm tired. I drove in from San Antonio. So please scan that if you want to connect on LinkedIn. And with that, I hope to see you next time. It'll be the third Monday of next month. And then I will have my fourth event for Rising Trend of Solopreneurs the last week of November as well. So, and you will see what happens. Do you want to share the good news as well, or is it too soon?
No, I mean, it's fine, it's cool.
Yeah, please, share.
So I'm super pumped. I met with Capital Factory today, and again, please keep going to Chris's classes. You guys know, you learn something different every single time. Part of that, because he knows so much, is like how do we actually apply this in our business, right? And so starting in 2025, I'm going to be teaching a class on the synergy of AI technology and VA integration. And so basically how to take those tools, apply to your business, and how to properly integrate a VA so you're basically getting that multiplicative effect in your business.
That's amazing. Fantastic. So also, if you parked in the garage, which I hope you didn't, because there's free street parking, I have discount tickets for you. I think it's only this one. It has to be this one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yep. And with that, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Please network with each other if you want to talk more. I will be downstairs at the elevator if you want to come talk to me. Otherwise, we have to be out in 4 minutes. So.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you came. Yep, awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Yep. And if you do come tomorrow, oh yeah, I just want to let y'all know there's an AI mixer tomorrow here on the floor, okay? So, please come out at 5 o'clock. But yeah, if you keep it, if not, I know you have practice. I know you have practice.
Yeah, but I work with the commercial.
Okay, yeah, it only runs from 5 to 7.
Because if it was like one that runs.
Texas stuff.
Yeah.
How long have you
Right. And then I'm going to be speaking at Texas State.
Almost perfect.
They have,
No,
yeah, this one's in a different.
no,
Not a mixer, they're gonna have.
But I was thinking
street
actually that's a
performance
nice fun to
and
have
they
some
want to
people
do
and
What's that?
6:30.
this lady is over there.
Nice to meet you.
If it's too far, you know.
Who's the Yeah.
I'm Anna.
What's your name?
My name is Max. Nice to meet
Max?
you.
Did you just go down to 130?
Anna.
I've been teaching myself how to code for the past like 6-7 months, so I got to college and got my real estate license, went into property management, and then immediately thought it was so cool. So I tried to automate it, but then obviously automated your entire job. Yeah.
I will find out more on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But
Studying more than I'm making right now, but
Well, I did the opposite. I'm a software engineer, and I read a book about real estate investment. So I wrote a SaaS that will allow you like to simulate a bank loan, like how much installments I have to make, and the costs that the property will have on taxes and renovations and everything. And then in the end, they will give you I don't know the name because it's in purchase market, but it's the profitability. Right. That's like
based on
if
your
I have like
website.
0 lives, it's like 4%. Yeah, but
I wonder what that looks like for Croatia.
I don't do marketing from I don't understand anything about business and marketing, so if there's no user base,
Are you guys just working on real estate or why does
More so related to quantum physics.
I know it's expensive, but like.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, we'll see. I'm just constantly trying to It's so hard to, I've like looked through it, and like, I love Safari, super nomads, I've done those, places, I wanna go to I've been to Europe, so my cousins are Singapore, it's amazing. I'm from Pennsylvania, but my mom, they're from
I was gonna say Australia, so
I've met plenty of people that are taller than me, and it's, everything.
my theory is
More or less.
Good for the bones, I don't know. Didn't work for me clearly. I'm not, but I've traveled.
The way that she does it is like anyone who has like a @gmail.com, yahoo.com, she type in her career back in there, or she type in the profession that you're looking for.
Are you looking for coding? Or do you know Microsoft
No,
Office
no,
was
no.
The couple brothers, they're all the same.
Tell that to the guy who needs
Six
it.
Spanish
$1,000.
The test and find keys.
It's like going to the street code with someone.
And then you can tell us a spreadsheet with that. And so
This upward jaw hasn't finished yet. For sure, yeah. Do you have a good number? A good number? Like almost.
Sure. I'll give you my Portuguese one. The rest of the world.
How are you guys, so are you guys working on something
Describing though, you might direct it part of the brain.
Are you good at it? Have you ever tried? I can't find a single line.
Your home auto renters, toys,
I'll make it work for, help.
It's all AI, like, if you want the tools for AI coding stuff, I'm in a bunch of communities, I guess in Korean.
Yeah, so I used to do that
But
and
they
for 3 years.
have figured out how to build apps completely from scratch, like with enterprise level, everything, like proper format, but it's.
I help,
I got a really,
What are you trying to
secured with a
find?
completely different product, I'd secured that through a big customer that's
So
paying
that, I got a severance from that and it gave me enough.
Earliest thing that I
But, yeah, like, you can really create something pretty easily, especially like, it depends what it is, it's obviously more complicated, like, the project I'm working on now is extremely
Right, and I'm like, all
but,
this stuff, I would rather give it away for free.
the other, like, wrapper
For me,
items,
I
like, for
have
example, the print on
manpower
demand that I was talking
Okay.
about, like, that's
But I
relative
certified
to
for
anything else, it's just, it's
and
basically a
I'm
website
in Australia.
with an API.
I mean, they're not a US entity.
You're done, like, that's it, you
LLC
just
to work
do the
for
marketing,
them.
and that's all. And I thought at first that that would be really hard to do,
You
but then
guys
you
will
just
understand more about that.
figure it out.
So for you, if you wanted to just go out
If you're into
and
spin. Yeah, definitely, like, after for my Instagram, you can text me and I will absolutely send you all the details, I will explain the details, super easy. And it's all, like, mostly free. Like, mostly free. Let's pay a guy in India $1,000 and it's not free.
Sort of like thanks for
And so there, I think it's like $14 who were married.
He has like 2 months worth of rent right now, and I just like am completely underestimating that.
Whatever, and it wasn't happening.
But the idea though is like go.
Right.
Some proportional.
It's more to do with like vendors, so I don't know, it looks like on your profile you might do. So, I don't know what the contract stuff looks like for sure, but so you do have to process contracts, that's.
Yeah, the builders still have like that Australian, they're consultants, but working for trusty.
Do you have to get RFPs, or do you send RFPs? Requests?
So does yours,
Yeah.
one of those sports programs,
And so,
you guys do like
it's really cool to have that mentality. I told them to build
It's
like
still not really good, but yes, it's efficient for working.
It's so
I mean,
fun.
For sure, it's, but it's not really.
But I think there's to see like go with like that, you know, like I can't do this, I'd rather
A lot of the people I talk to are into real estate, but it's like the product is just as useful as every other one. I've just kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna focus on this niche.
Like to go back to the shower, and then by the time you get there, everything else is
Okay, we're trying to like we're
First I have to build the login. But the product's there in the background, so I built out the full
And
thing.
then finally I was like, I can't do it anymore.
I was like,
The MVP.
Kudos to you, because most people, they just say, oh, I guess I'm going back here forever. Cross their fingers and have salary, so you can tell one of my friends are.
I mean, I'm here looking for opportunities, I don't necessarily have done any work to
Oh, no, for sure, for sure.
I hope so, but
I just,
just
this is my last day at my job actually today, so I better not be complimented. Because I got my whole ass on the line. Yeah, especially when you have visa. But it's a European visa though, which is like,
But it's just
I tell myself,
Portuguese thing.
it's like, would I rather
Portugal
start?
was like the third one. This year, compared to Europe. It's like, it's awesome.
You know, I'm probably looking
Yeah, I
at.
mean, that's, I don't know.
Like the wages are
Like,
still
I'm definitely-
American wages.
Yeah, that's on the table, I think.
Because otherwise you end up on the.
But, Portugal is really nice, you gotta like, the visa or the flight price I think was like 50%. There's it's cheap and there's not sweats off there. It's just the government loves foreigners. They just take for because like
your campus also have guys.
The foreigners deal it with.
No, the government loves foreigners, loves foreign investment.
And then they have one of my friends who were all Spanish.
It's like they're not even lost worse than us.
It's like I got my dog from Cameroon, I like, and then got picked up with and I said,
all these options like into
you have
so much.
and I scored like 1,000
I went to school in Russia.
What was it, what were you doing in New York? New York.
You know, really easy commercialized.
Articles from some guy
It's a Portuguese guy that came to us and he started his business. Like apartments. Here in a hybrid that they have. He has like a 400K. It's like it's crazy. But it's like 2 years old. I'm in Austin. I know to meet you. He made a post about how we met, and I got like 100 connections from a bunch of people. Maybe I'm gonna get a job.
The things that you
in downtown Austin,
and I did racquetball.
he's always working at cafe. Yeah, I know.
Super cool.
Sixth and Congress. He's like always there.
One of the domains is some really like big.
I did that in college. And then I did like
There's an event on
Hey, every sport thing I could do at AT.
Are you kidding?
I took all of them. I did gymnastics.
Yeah, you're digitally nomadic there, but you probably find it at Meetup.com.
Alright guys, we have to be out of the room, so if y'all want, I can meet y'all downstairs.
In hindsight.
Yeah, this man, man, I can jump.
Where'd you go, bro?
The best part of Portugal.
Lisbon, Porto.
It's the north, it's north.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you more about Wednesday.
I don't know much about
Anchor and chain.
But that's also why I have just one.
It's also,
Yeah, true.
and for this moment,
Nothing.
it's great.
Oh yeah, that was Alright, thanks.
Catch it.
Alright, let's head down.